Welcome back to the front lines of the psychological war, where the shadows meet the light of your awakening. Today, we are stepping into the most sacred and vulnerable space of the human experience, the sanctuary of intimacy, to expose a theft so precise, it feels like a surgical strike. We are talking about the moment the narcissist whispers those three dangerous words, "Make love to me." To an empath, this is an invitation to the soul's union, a bridge across the void. But for the predator, this is a tactical maneuver designed to exploit your highest frequency. Pay close attention, because when the narcissist asks for this connection, a terrible thing happens so fast that your heart barely has time to register the betrayal before the lights go out. Imagine the setting. The lights are low, the atmosphere is thick with a manufactured tenderness, and the person who has been tearing you down all week suddenly looks at you with a curated warmth. This is the hook. They use the phrase "making love" not because they believe in it, but because they know you do. It is a linguistic camouflage designed to lower your defenses and trigger your natural empathy. You want to believe that the war is over, that the Cold War has finally thawed, and that this physical act will be the healing balm for all the wounds they've inflicted. You are walking into a trap disguised as a sanctuary, and the predator is waiting for you to exhale so they can begin the harvest. The big haunting question that brings us here today is this: how can a moment of such intense physical proximity leave you feeling more alone than a ghost in an empty house? The answer is as dark as it is revealing. The terrible thing that happens so fast is the immediate, clinical detachment of the narcissist the second the act begins. While you are reaching for their soul, they are already checking your pockets. They are not with you. They are using you as a biological utility to ground their own chaotic energy. In the time it takes for a single heartbeat, the person you think you are connecting with has retreated into a fortress of cold observation, watching you surrender while they remain entirely untouched. You must understand the speed of this psychological shift. To the empath, intimacy is an expansion. To the narcissist, it is a subtraction. The moment you offer your vulnerability, the narcissist experiences a surge of power, not from the love, but from the realization that they still own your emotional response. The terrible thing is the sudden death of the persona they used to lure you into the bedroom. Once the door is closed and the commitment is made, the mask is no longer necessary. They become a sexual parasite, hovering over your vitality, taking the oxytocin and the validation your body provides, and converting it into narcissistic supply to fuel their false image for the world outside. This isn't just a bad date or a lack of chemistry, it is a spiritual heist that leaves your nervous system in a state of high alert. As you lean in for a kiss, expecting a return of warmth, you are met with a gaze that is terrifyingly empty. It is like staring into the eyes of a shark mid-hunt. They are physically there, but the humanity you are trying to reach has evaporated. This sudden disappearance of the partner you thought you knew is the terrible thing that shatters your sense of reality. You are left making love to a shell, a hollow vessel that is consuming your light while offering nothing but a cold, mechanical performance in return. Why does this happen so fast? Because the narcissist cannot sustain the false self under the pressure of real intimacy. Real intimacy requires truth, and the narcissist is a walking lie. To stay in the moment with you would require them to drop their guard and be seen, and being seen is their greatest fear. So, they disconnect. They dissociate. They turn you into a prop in their internal movie. This rapid-fire withdrawal is a psychological defense mechanism that protects their fragile ego from the threat of your love. Your empathy is a fire that warms you, but it is a fire that threatens to melt the ice of their manufactured identity, so they must extinguish it immediately. Stay with me, because the realization of this theft is the first step to your freedom. Most survivors spend years trying to fix the intimacy, thinking if they were more attractive, more adventurous, or more patient, the warmth would stay. But the warmth was never there, it was a reflection of your own sun. The terrible thing is that the narcissist uses your own beauty to blind you to their emptiness. They are a mirror that has convinced the sun it is the source of the light. When you stop to look closer, you realize the mirror is cracked and the room behind it is a void. This is the cinematic horror of the narcissistic bedroom, a place where the more you give, the less you exist. The speed of this extraction is designed to keep you in a state of cognitive dissonance. By the time you realize they aren't there, the act is over, and they are already turning their back on you or checking their phone. The afterglow you crave is replaced by a post-intimacy chill that freezes your soul. You are left wondering if you imagine the connection, if you are too needy, or if you did something wrong. This confusion is the goal. The narcissist has taken your energy and left you with their shame. It is a hit and run on your self-esteem executed with the precision of a professional assassin, and it leaves you bleeding out emotionally in the dark. We are pulling back the curtain on the bedroom interrogation. While you think you are sharing a moment of trust, the narcissist is actually scanning you for weaknesses. They are watching how you react to their touch, how desperate you are for their approval, and how much you will tolerate their coldness. This is secret knowledge being exposed. Every intimate encounter is a data collection mission for the predator. They are mapping the boundaries of your soul so they know exactly where to strike during the next evaluation phase. The terrible thing is that your most sacred surrender is being used as a blueprint for your future destruction. This chapter of our breakdown is the hook that keeps you from ever looking at them the same way again. You can never UNC the void once you recognize it. The narcissist's request to make love is a summons to a courtroom where you are the defendant and they are the judge. They have already found you guilty of being human, and the sentence is the extraction of your peace. As we move into the psychological breakdown, we will look at the internal machinery of the narcissist to see why they are so terrified of the very love they beg you for. Hold on to your sovereignty. The truth is about to get even darker. To understand why this terrible thing happens, we must dissect the internal machinery of the narcissistic mind. A narcissist is a being whose inner core is a vacuum, a lightless, soundless chamber of repressed shame and self-loathing. They do not have a self to offer you, they only have a mask to show you. When they ask to make love, they are attempting to plug in to your power grid. They are like a city with no power station, desperately trying to run an extension cord to your heart. But because their wiring is faulty, the energy you send them doesn't create light, it just shorts out the system. They aren't looking for a partner, they are looking for a battery. The narcissist's fear of engulfment is the visceral metaphor we must explore. To them, your empathy is like an ocean. They want to sit on the shore and watch the waves, but the moment they step into the water, the moment of intimacy, they feel like they are drowning. Your capacity to feel deeply is a threat to their autonomy. They believe that if they let you in, you will consume them, or worse, see the small, withered child that is hiding behind the grandiose mask. So, the terrible thing happens. They kill the connection mid-act to prove to themselves that they are still independent and in control. It is a preemptive strike against the threat of being loved. This is the dissociative shift. Have you ever noticed that during intimacy, the narcissist seems to go somewhere else? Their eyes glaze over, or they focus intensely on a performance rather than a person. This is because they have checked out of the reality of us and retreated into an internal fantasy. In this fantasy, they are the star, and you are just a background actor whose only job is to provide the applause. They are masturbating with your body, using you as a tool for their own physical release and ego validation. The terrible thing is the total objectification of your soul. You are being used, not loved, and the speed of this transition is breathtakingly cruel. We must talk about the envy of the empath. The narcissist sees your ability to feel transcendence during intimacy, and it makes them feel inferior. They know, on some level, that they are emotionally colorblind while you are seeing a symphony of light. Because they cannot have what you have, they seek to spoil it for you. If they can't feel the magic, they will make sure you don't feel it either. By withdrawing their presence so fast, they are stealing your joy and replacing it with their hollowness. It is a scorched earth policy. They would rather burn the temple of intimacy to the ground than let you worship there without them being the god on the altar. Imagine a predator that mimics the sound of a crying infant to lure a mother out into the open. That is the narcissist using vulnerability as bait. They might share a fake secret or a sob story before the act to prime your empathy. They want you to feel protective of them, to feel like only you can heal them. This priming ensures that when you make love, you are giving 200% of your emotional energy. The terrible thing is that the moment they feel that surge of your care, they close the gate. They have what they wanted, the proof of your devotion, and now they have no further use for the person providing it. The transaction is complete. Their internal chaos is a whirlwind of paranoia. Even as they are being intimate with you, they are interrogating your motives. Why are they being so nice? What do they want from me? Are they trying to control me with their love? This internal dialogue prevents them from ever being present. The terrible thing that happens so fast is the silent interrogation. They are judging your performance, your body, and your emotions against an impossible standard of perfection. You are being graded in a test you didn't know you were taking, and because you are a human and not a hologram, you are guaranteed to fail in their eyes. Let's look at the metaphor of the black hole. A black hole has no light of its own, so it must consume suns to maintain its gravity. When the narcissist asks to make love, they are pulling you into their orbit. The terrible thing is the spaghettification of your identity. As you get closer to the event horizon of their void, you start to lose your shape. You stop being you and start being what they need. You are being stretched to fill the holes in their psyche, but the hole is bottomless. No amount of making love will ever be enough. You are starving in a room full of food because the food is plastic and the room is a vacuum. The narcissist's hidden motive is the establishment of dominance. To them, sex is the ultimate power move. By getting you to surrender your body and soul to them, they have conquered you. The terrible thing is the trophy mindset. Once they have had you, the value of the conquest drops immediately. This is why the devaluation often starts in the bedroom. They have won the game, and they are already looking for the next level or a new game. You are left holding a connection that has already been liquidated in their internal market. They are shorting your heart, betting on your collapse to prove their superiority. There is also the narcissistic injury that occurs when you actually connect. If, for a split second, the narcissist feels a genuine emotion, it triggers a panic attack of the soul. Real emotion is uncontrolled, and the narcissist must control everything. The terrible thing that happens so fast is the retaliatory strike. To punish themselves for feeling weak or human, they punish you by being cold, critical, or abusive immediately after. They have to re-establish the boundary of their false self. They have to prove that your love has no power over them. The afterglow is replaced by a counterattack on your sanity. This psychological breakdown reveals the internal rot behind the romantic invitation. You are not dealing with a lonely soul, you are dealing with a broken machine that uses intimacy as lubricant for its own ego maintenance. The terrible thing isn't just the detachment, it's the dehumanization. As we move into the dramatic turning point, you will see what happens when the empath finally sees the machine behind the man. The power shift is coming, and it begins the moment you realize that making love with a narcissist is just a spiritual autopsy where you are the body on the table. The dramatic turning point begins the moment your intuition finally screams louder than your hope. You are in the middle of the act, in that supposed sacred space, and suddenly you wake up. You look at the person above you or beside you and you don't see your partner, you see a stranger with a blank face. This is the psychological plot twist. For the first time, you are the one who dissociates, but not because you are afraid, but because you are seeing. You realize that the heat you are feeling is yours, and the cold you are feeling is theirs. The power dynamic shifts in a single, silent breath of clarity. When the empath stops providing the heat, the narcissist's supply is cut off mid-feed. This is a catastrophic glitch in their system. They can feel the energetic withdrawal. You are still physically there, but your soul has left the building. You are no longer reaching for them. You are no longer begging for a reaction. You have become a gray rock in the one place they thought they had total dominance. The terrible thing is now happening to them. They are staring into the mirror of your indifference, and for the first time, they are the ones who feel invisible. Their hunger is met with your silence. Watch the narcissist's reaction when their control fails in the bedroom. They will often ramp up the performance. They might become aggressive, performative, or exaggerated in their expressions of passion. This is a desperate calibration. They are trying to force a reaction out of you to rehook your nervous system. They are like a hacker trying every password to get back into your server. But the server is offline. You are watching them like a scientist watching a lab rat in a mazes of its own making. The hunter has become the observed, and the aura of danger is evaporating. They may lash out with a verbal strike mid-intimacy. Why are you so quiet? What's wrong with you? You're ruining the mood. This is the narcissistic injury speaking. They are offended by your autonomy. They want you to stay in the script, and your silence is a rebellion. The terrible thing is the final mask slip. They will say something so cruel or clinical that the illusion of love is shattered forever. You are standing in the rubble of the relationship, and you realize that the person you loved was just a collection of echoes of your own greatness. The ghost has been busted. This turning point is a spiritual sovereignty. You realize that your sexual energy is a sacred resource that they have been stealing like digital pirates. By rejecting the false connection, you are reclaiming your life force. You feel a surge of power that has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you. You are no longer ashamed of your needs, you are honoring them by denying them to a predator. The bedroom is no longer a battlefield, it is the exit ramp from the narcissistic highway. You are driving away, and they are shrinking in the rearview mirror. The narcissist's panic turns into contempt. When they realize they can no longer consume, they will try to destroy you. They will exit the bedroom and immediately go to secondary supply. They might text an ex, go on social media, or stonewall you for days. This is retaliatory abandonment. They want to punish you for breaking the spell. But the plot twist is that you welcome the silence. The Cold War is now a peace treaty you signed with yourself. Their withdrawal is no longer a threat, it is a relief. You are breathing the clean air of your own reality. Show the dramatic shift in power through the lens of truth. 4 years, the narcissist was the director, and you were the actor. Now, you are the cinematographer, and you are zooming in on their flaws, their insecurities, and their pathetic need for external approval. They look small. They look old. They look broken. The cinematic grandeur they once projected has dissolved into a low-budget tragedy. You realize that you were the source of the magic all along. Without your empathy, the narcissist is just a hollow suit sitting in a dark room. The narcissist will try to gaslight the reality of what just happened. You were the one who made it weird. You're the one who is cold. You have sexual issues. They are projecting their internal void onto you. But because you have seen the machine, the gaslighting doesn't take. It bounces off your clarity like bullets off steel. You are invincible because you are informed. You know that their version of reality is just a defense mechanism to prevent their own collapse. You don't argue, you just observe. Observation is the death of the narcissist's power. This is the moment of no return. Once you have seen the terrible thing during making love, you can never unsee it. Every touch from them will now feel clinical. Every compliment will sound like a transaction. Every invitation will feel like a summons to a heist. You have decoded the matrix. The trauma bond is fraying at the atomic level. You are vibrating at a frequency they can no longer reach. The predator is starving in the presence of a feast they are no longer allowed to touch. The turning point is absolute. As we move into the collapse, remember, the narcissist's rage is their last stand. They are going to burn the house down because they can no longer control the inhabitants. They are going to attack your reputation, your family, and your sanity. But they are attacking from a position of weakness. You have the high ground of truth. The terrible thing that happened so fast was the beginning of the end. Now, we witness the total collapse of the narcissistic ego and the brutal consequences of harvesting a soul that was too big to be eaten. The collapse of the narcissist is a spectacle of self-destruction. When the sexual predator can no longer feed on your empathy, their false self begins to crumble under the weight of its own emptiness. This is narcissistic mortification. They experience a psychic death that is far worse than any physical pain. They lose their ability to regulate their own emotions. They fall into dark depressions or uncontrollable furies that expose them to the world. The mask is not just slipping, it is melting off in a grotesque display of psychological decay. They are exposed. Their social consequences are swift and brutal. Because they are starving for supply, they become reckless. They overstep boundaries with friends, colleagues, and strangers. They become that person, the one everyone avoids at the party. The charm that once enchanted you has become transparent and creepy. People start to see the desperation in their eyes. They are losing their grip on their social grid. They are being deplatformed from their own reality. They are becoming irrelevant, and irrelevance is the hell they have feared their whole lives. The internal panic is visible in their body language. They look haggard, grey, and twitchy. The life force they stole from you was the only thing keeping them animated. Now that you have cut the cord, they are withering. They are like a vampire who hasn't fed in a century. They are choking on their own bitterness. The terrible thing that happened in the bedroom has leaked into every aspect of their life. They are drowning in the ice water of their own making. Their grandiosity is now pathetic. Their ego is a sinking ship. Watch the harsh truth of their new supply. They will scramble to find someone else to plug into, but it will be a low-grade connection. They will settle for quantity over quality. They will find broken people who have nothing to give, and the narcissist will collapse even further. They are trapped in a downward spiral of shame and failure. Every sexual encounter they have now is just a compulsive ritual to numb the pain of being nothing. They are fading into the background noise of the world. They are a ghost of a ghost. The collapse of their intimacy leads to sexual anorexia or hypersexuality, both of which are symptomatic of a deeply disordered soul. They can no longer function in the sacred space because they have desecrated it too many times. They are haunted by the memory of your indifference. They hate you for seeing them. They hate you for surviving them. Every touch they experience now is filtered through the lens of their defeat. They are cursed to live in the cold for the rest of their lives. The summer of the narcissist is over. Brutal honesty, the narcissist is unraveling because you were the center of their universe. Not because they loved you, but because they needed you to tell them they existed. Without your reflected light, they have no shape. They are a shadow with no body. This realization is the terminal phase of the collapse. They might turn to addiction, compulsion, or self-harm to feel something. They are searching for the pulse they stole from you, but the pulse is gone. You have reclaimed the rhythm of your own heart, and they are flatlining. The social discard becomes public. Their flying monkeys start to turn on them. People start comparing notes. The secret knowledge of their abuse is going viral in your social circle. The narcissist is exiled. They are forced to move on, to change jobs, or to find a new city where no one knows their real face. But they carry the void with them. They are condemned to repeat the same tragedy with a new cast of victims, but the reviews are getting worse. They are a B-movie villain in a world that wants Oscar-winning truth. Intensify the collapse. The narcissist's rage is now a distant noise. It no longer triggers you. It no longer scares you. You watch their outbursts with a cold, analytical pity. You see the scared child behind the aggression, but you no longer feel the need to save it. You realize that saving them would be suicide for you. You are done. The collapse is the final closing of the door. You are locking the deadbolt of your sovereignty, and the narcissist is stuck on the outside, screaming at a house that is no longer theirs. Brutally truthful tone. The narcissist's life is a cemetery of dead connections. They walk among the tombstones of every empath they discarded, searching for one they can resurrect. But the graves are empty. We have all risen. We have all walked away. The narcissist is alone in the necropolis. This is the final consequence of the terrible thing they did. They murdered the love that was keeping them alive, and now they have to live with the corpse. The stench of their own character is suffocating them. They are finished. As we enter the final truth, look at the ruin of the predator and realize you are the victory. The narcissist tried to subtract you, but they accidentally multiplied you. They tried to break you, but they tempered you. They tried to steal your soul, but they forced you to find it. The collapse is not a tragedy for you, it is a symphony of justice. You are healing because you face the darkness and refuse to become it. The final truth is luminous, and it is starting now. The narcissist didn't stop having sex with you, they failed the human initiation. They were unworthy of the sacred gift of your vulnerability. The terrible thing that happened so fast was actually a divine intervention. It was the alarm clock that woke you up from a nightmare you didn't know you were in. You have reclaimed the keys to your own temple, and the occupier has been evicted by the order of truth. Emotional closure comes from the absolute certainty that you were never the problem. You were a feast being judged by a person with no sense of taste. You were a masterpiece being interrogated by a blind critic. The rejection in the bedroom was not a verdict on your desirability, it was a confession of their emotional impotence. You are closing the case file because the subject is statistically predictable and emotionally dead. There is nothing left to analyze. You are free of the need to understand a being that is incapable of truth. Reclaim your power through the lens of self-love. Your sexual energy is yours. It is the creative power of the universe flowing through you. It was never theirs. They were just tapping into the line. Now you have sealed the leak. You are generating your own heat, your own joy, and your own peace. You are healing your nervous system by starving the predator. The silence in your life is now a fertile soil where new life is sprouting. You are growing a garden in the place where the narcissist tried to build a desert. The drawbridge is up, the walls are crumbling, and the king is screaming from the battlements. You don't look back. You are walking into a forest that is teeming with life. The music is crescendoing. You are tuned in to the frequency of the earth. You are rooted, sovereign, and untouchable. The predator is a footnote in your legend. You are the hero who faced the void and brought back the light. Healing the trauma, your body is learning to trust again. It is deprogramming the false signals of the abuser. You are reparenting the part of you that was tricked by the predator. You are forgiving yourself for being human. You are learning that vulnerability is a weapon of light, not a weakness. You are building a new sanctuary, and this time, the walls are made of truth and the door is locked from the inside. You are the only one with the combination. You are safe. The message to the survivor, you are not broken. You were harvested, but your roots were too deep for the parasite to reach. You are regenerating. Every cell in your body is rewriting the story. You are no longer the victim of a sexual heist, you are the survivor of a spiritual trial. You have graduated from the school of shadows. You are now a teacher of the light. Your voice is a siren for others who are still trapped in the narcissist's bedroom. You are calling them home. The narcissist's permanent winter, while you thrive, the narcissist freezes. They are condemned to an eternal repetition of the same 50 paragraphs with different faces. They will never know the warmth of a real connection. They will never feel the peace of a clean conscience. They are living ghosts haunting the remains of their own failures. Their punishment is to be exactly who they are for eternity. You, however, are free to become anything. Your potential is infinite. You are rediscovering your desire. You are rediscovering your spark. You are rediscovering the joy of being touched with reverence and respect. The sexual Cold War was just a season in your life, and the winter has passed. You are in full bloom. You are luminous, vibrant, and intense. The predator tried to eat your light, but they choked on your truth. You are the sun, and the shadows have no choice but to disappear in your presence. We are an army of sovereignty. We are the Great Awakening. The age of the predator is coming to an end because the hosts have stopped providing the energy. We are unplugging the grid of abuse. We are reconnecting to the source of love. The terrible thing is over. The beautiful thing is beginning. You are home. You are whole. You are free. The narcissist asked you to make love because they wanted to steal your pulse, but they forgot that a heart that beats for the truth is a rhythm that can never be silenced by a ghost. Go forth and live with the intensity that was meant to be yours all along. Your soul is the source, and the predator is finally out of supply.